Are you ready? Because I am. So I am Joseph, and it is December 19th, 2020, here in California for just under an hour. I am doing my usual quick posting of a link showing that I am live, and then I will give you all my attention. How's everybody doing? I hope well, and that you are smiling. I think that smiling is quite an accomplishment. For one, in this moment, this now, that we are all a part of. So, I'm back. Spent a little bit of time here last night, and I'm back. The Great Reset. Have you heard it? Have you heard that term yet? Excuse me. A little bit of sparkling carbonated mineral water. So the Great Reset. Have you heard that term of late? I have. I heard Justin Trudeau up in Canada use that word, or words, the Great Reset. I've heard, I don't even want to rehash. I briefly went over that last time. I mentioned a few. And the train, there's more getting on board. It's a plan in motion that I think in some ways is impossible to stop. There is a reset of sorts taking place. I mean, I'm no expert, but if I spend a moment and take all the years of my life into account and look at the world as it is, something isn't right. And I know many can say that, well, it's always been this way. There's always been problems. And I have no argument with that. There have been problems. Much, if not most, of what's happening right now in the world is nothing new. It has been taking place, but I feel like there's a boiling point, a balloon. You can only put so much air into a balloon before it pops. There needs to be a change. Clearly, when you hear words like the Great Reset, and leaders of this world are saying them, I look at those people and I don't have an argument per se with what they're saying. It's the motivation behind their saying these things that disturbs me. And the people, for the most part, the people they're ignorant of these things. Politics, the business of things, law. And so they get away with it. They do. They get away with steering you wrong, building up, hyping up an image, an act, and the people buy it. I think people are buying it. Right now, the United States of America is being hijacked. It's just to keep it simple. I think people understand what that word means. It's been taken control of. There's an attempt. Anyway, nothing is finalized yet. The presidency of the United States. The way I see what's happening right now, I'll look at it from both sides, but I will start with Mr. Biden becomes president. In my mind's eye, government died that day. Because I, as a free-thinking individual, would never choose to consciously participate with either party. Either party. Because I ain't seeing much from the Republican side either standing up. Not all, but which is what should be happening. I mean, cheating's cheating, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There should be no way around it, period. There should be no amount of money involved. Yet, it does. money, you can get away with anything, pretty much, it seems like these days. If you have enough money. Hell, you got Bill Gates, the world's health expert on vaccinations. The guy comes from a family that, in their mind's eye, their philosophy, there's too many people. You got to get that through your head. That's how they think. There's too many people. Planned Parenthood, ring a bell? People should know these things about Bill Gates. I mean, if this man is supposed to be some expert, which, I mean, the man thinks he is that's the words that come out of his mouth. They want to fulfill their plan, which is to reduce the population of humans. Too many people. Bill Gates, Mr. Windows, a program, he's given that all up, and now has become, again, like I said, the expert. He knows what's best for you. And what needs to be done. And again, he comes from a family that think there's too many people. Those are the circles his mama and daddy hung out with, in the people. You can't make this stuff up. That's just, it's so unreal, but it does, I mean, it makes, if you just look at it for what it is, okay? This man has no business leading the campaign to vaccinate you for anything. Anything. I mean, the man has a record. There's countries that don't want him near them. He's banned. If he goes into their country, I imagine they're going to arrest him and put him in a prison cell. I would hope. And I've watched enough of him. I don't watch him religiously, but I've watched enough to get the impression that he's very cocky and he's laughing at you. Why? Because he can. Because he's got the money. Ooh, what would I do if I had Bill's money? I had this dream of saving the world. Now I can. I'm just not going to do it the way Bill is. Or wouldn't do it the way Bill is. I'm being sarcastic because I don't have Bill's money. I'm just saying, this is the mind of Bill. He's a part of this great reset. Boy, wouldn't it help if you called the herd? It'd make it a little easier to hear, so to speak. There's too much noise. That's how these people look at it. When they look at the waves of people out there. 7 billion plus. Just think about that number. And there's that many of you. I mean, we're all in this together. We're all the same thing. I think we are. Trying to figure this out. Why am I here? And if I knew why I am here, what next? These people with ungodly amounts of money who do not see you in their future. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Right now. Then stand up. And then speak up. Because you're not going to have much longer to speak up. You really aren't. This is the great reset that they're pushing for. Is going to make sure of that. We're seeing glimpses of it already. This new world that they envision on the horizon. Censorship. This great reset has no qualms with the censorship that's taking place right now. Your freedom of speech. Your right to speak your mind. That's not a part of the Great Reset. So you need to wake up. And you need to stand up and speak up right now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now. I think I touched on this last night, that I think that there's a sense of, for the most part by people, that things are pretty much kind of like how they've been. I mean, there's those big things that are not the way they were, wearing masks and locking down and curfews and everything that's come that we've seen over the past year. Everything that we've been going through has been a test. I can't get that thought out of my mind. I stand back as an observer, detached, and I come back from it seeing this as a test, a run through. Because bigger things are coming. I mean, this is a plan of intent that's been started. The ball's rolling, and once it started rolling, those who got it rolling have no intentions of stopping it. You got to remember, the people for the most part have no clue. They haven't been thinking about this kind of stuff, thinking this way. Life has been life, just good times, trying to get ahead, right? Well, while all of y'all were in that state of mind, there were others in a state of mind that have been projecting outwards and looking to the future, a future that they believe in. And they look at all of us, the majority, and we are clearly and obviously in a different class. They see us differently. And I think that there's such a divide between us that they have this feeling that all of us could never be where they're at. Are you going to get a vaccination? Just kind of throw that out. Can you even say that? Ask that? Am I qualified to ask that? I'm telling you, the censorship is only beginning. I mean, when you are a true thinker, a fair thinker and observer, you view both sides as best you can before you make any decisions that lead you forward. At least I do. And I can say that I am blown away right now, because I know that I can turn on the news, CNN, CBS, NBC, all the news that is out there, and I can listen to reporters just absolutely bald-faced lie in front of the camera. And I can say that because again, you have to see both sides. See, we live in a world, I think, where that's not advisable, I think, almost, because we've created such a divide between good and bad that you would never have or want to have anything to do with bad. Steer clear. I don't know. This is just, I'm telling you, this is some weird stuff that's going on right now in reality. I mean, my mind's being blown on so many levels. I mean, who have you imagined a day like this? You wake up and there's a virus and lockdowns and families losing their businesses, more people finding themselves out on the streets homeless. I didn't, although I've always held strongly to, if there were going to be an end, that it would be biological. Some kind of sickness, virus, whatever, something of that nature. And I thought it out in my mind because it just seemed like that made the most sense. It might take longer to get to that point where one could do such a thing. But once you could, the cost of distributing it out here would be fairly minimal. And the spread, all I'm saying is that this is what I thought for many years, because it just seemed logical. Why toss nukes out? That destroys everything, not just the enemy. You know, the enemy, that's what this is all about. They look at us as enemies, whoever's put this COVID out there. I know people don't want to think like that, though. I get it. It's just so wrong. Is that the word that comes to your mind? Because it's the word that comes to mind. It's such a wrong thought. But again, I want to understand if this kind of stuff happens, I want to be able to make some sense out of it and get my what together so I can deal with it. Because it's happening right now. Right now. We are in this moment where it's begun. And again, it's fairly cheap. It's fairly easy. I mean, now there's going to just be just a game of deniability, and everybody will deny. That just takes attention off of what's actually taking place. This has been a run through. I look at it as my mind says, if you were going to do such a thing, okay, you don't want to do it all at once. What do I mean? You don't want to put something out there into the public that just overnight, people are actually dropping like flies, like waves of people. It just seems impossible that one could ever get away from it. That's how ravaging it is. You wouldn't want to do that. Why? Because you'd have a lot of dead bodies to deal with. Why? Why would you want to do that to yourself? You wouldn't. So you do it in steps, little by little, and let it build. Get the people to take care of the dead, for one. That's easier. And back to why not use nukes, or why use nukes versus biologicals. Nukes destroy everything, okay? Not just kill everything, they destroy everything. But biologicals don't. The only thing they destroy is the life. And if it's targeted biological, then, the birds and the bees are all cool. It's just the humans. And again, I know, why would you want to think like that? Again, I want to understand what possesses a mind to think like that. Because I don't think you could ever convince somebody of that mindset to change their way unless you took a moment to understand this bigger possible picture. I think I'll come back to this Great Reset, or maybe, it doesn't maybe. I think it all comes into play, because I want to kind of shift to intelligence for a moment now. I believe I put that in the title to this video stream. Yes, intelligence. Intelligence. I was thinking about intelligence all day. Look at the world all around me, and I'm amazed. I am. Aren't you? Everything that we have as a people, all of it, everything around you, everything in your home, it's just so amazing. And then I think, how many people understand the world they live in right now, around? How many understand the world around us? I don't think that many do. I mean, many are great at seeing and observing and experiencing the world around them, but they have the slightest clue. And I'm not saying I'm anything special. This is why I was wondering all day about just I can see there's a big monitor TV in front of me. How does that work? The camera. I mean, I have simple ideas in my mind, and but I know that they are nowhere near what it takes for any of these things to be. So again, it kind of amazes me that we as a people, we live in this world that we, for the most part, have the slightest clue of how it even came to be, how any of it came to be. It's like just as much a mystery to me as how I came to be. Really. I mean, sure, the knowledge is there. The libraries contain all the information of how this world came to be, but it just seems so detached from me, far away from me. I mean, I know it's there, but there's something about I have to think some more on that thought. Again, that's intelligence. I'm a firm believer that space is not the next great frontier. The mind is the next great frontier. Hence, I have my dreaming reality in my titles. I am a firm believer that if I want to view and understand everything that's happening around me and why it's happening, it's easier for me to relate to this experience as being a dream. There's no difference between the dream, when I'm dreaming, and this, what's taking place here. The only difference between here and the dream, when I say dream and what people imagine as being a dream, is that when I'm here, my mind has set barriers up, limitations, walls, boundaries. And so we all behave in accordance with those thoughts. Again, to me, thought is the next great frontier, the mind. Space, we already know that just to go to the nearest planet in our life is not going to happen. The distances of everything in the universe are mind-boggling. It's just not going to happen that way. Space. I'm not trying to ignore space and the universe and everything that's out there. I'm just trying to, I think, share a thought that I don't put so much weight on that train of thought. I don't ignore it or deny it. I just don't, on a scale, it's not at the top. Intelligence. Reality and dreams. Let's just say that this is a dream, and everything that I'm experiencing is not as disconnected from that dream state when we sleep that we hold on to. Okay, let's just go there for a moment. What next? How do you go about your day? How does one go about their day with such power? I say power because when you're in a dream, in the sleeping and in that state, and in that experience, anything can happen. Anything. Stuff happens there that doesn't happen here in this place, right? I think we all agree. That's why I call it a dream. But if you had that here in this place, whatever this place is, you experienced this world in the same way that you do in that dream state. Do you think that you would experience it in the same way? And what I mean is that I think in the majority of my dreams, I don't feel like I'm making things happen. I'm more of a participant. I'm just kind of going with the flow of whatever is happening, and whatever is happening, that's what's weird, that doesn't make sense when I compare it to this world. So if you had the realization that this was just as real as far as a dream goes. That the same laws that dictate what goes on in a dream are observed here. Again, what would you do? What would you do? And how do you do that? How do you go about I think that any such a person that's in that kind of a mindset, that's wondering, it has gone to that point, that place where they're thinking about that kind of a possibility. If that person were to come to a point where just true understanding, I mean, there's the pinnacle, they've reached it all, they know all, they would, and I'm speaking in reference to the dreams and everything that I've been speaking about, the dreams and reality, and they're both interconnected. Such a mind, I don't think you wouldn't be here. You would not be here. I think that those people, those minds that are filled with that kind of a realization, they continue on with the experience on another level. Yeah, they have to. It's like you can't take a fish out of the water and it stays alive. So I think that such a mind, they are so changed that to stay here is like they've been taken out of their normal required environment and now thrust into this other environment, because it is a new environment. Again, I'm just speaking hypothetically, or just a what if possibility. Because that's the only way I think that you can ever find out anything more about anything, is exploring the what if. So intelligence. We are not alone. We never have been. We are clearly at a point in time where there are large numbers of people that are on this page that feel the same way. We're not alone. They have enough understanding that we live in a universe. We live on a planet, a little grain of sand, not even, in the vastness of this universe, of galaxies, that we're not alone in that regard. Now, whether we would ever see them, that's where I come back to the space. Space is not the next great frontier. That's taken the long way to the destination. It's the mind. Again, you're never gonna. I mean, if let's just say all the life, the But life in the universe is like, there's just two, us and somebody else, one other. And they're at the farthest point in this universe, if you could put a size on it, but they would be at the farthest point. So it's like you're never ever going to see them. It's just never going to happen unless you come to accept, embrace new ways of thinking. It comes down to thinking. I just how long I've been going? Wow, almost an hour. I see. I love to talk about ET. I don't get frightened by the idea of ET. I know a lot of people do. It's the devil, it's demons, and you're falling victim to this evil plan. And I can't say that that's not happening, but I can't say that that is what's happening either, because I feel like if there were life out there in the universe, which I firmly think there is, there's only two possibilities, when they're either good or bad. And if there's life out there, I don't see it as it's just this one planet out there that has life on it, or two, because it would be us and this other planet. There's got to be lots of planets that would have life. And I don't see all of them getting to this point where they had this battle between good and bad won. Right now, we're clearly at that stage where the battle between good and bad is being waged. I'm not so sure where we're going to come out when it all settles. Anyway, I don't see every race of person out there, thinking mind, as being bad. Okay? And I can definitely say that I can't say that they're not bad or bad either way, because I'm not in the presence. I'm not standing in front of some being and asking questions out vocally and getting responses so that I can make a determination for myself, not what somebody else has said. That said, there is intelligence everywhere. Okay? Everywhere. Now, when I speak of we're not alone and there's an intelligence here, I say that because I feel it. And I have experiences in the world. Just everything just seems so connected. I mean, and it's strange. It's weird. It's why. But it's happening for me. And it's raising my eyebrows. And all I can do is think. Think deeply about, why am I here? Why are you here? Why are any of us here? right now, this point in time, with everything that's taking place, with everything that's happened, because my mind says it's no accident. Everything is so planned. And I can see how it's so planned out, right down to, it's like my life just seems planned out because of the synchronicity that just is non-stop. I'm thankful though, because my mind is already in this mindset of just strangeness, that when I see what's going on in the world right now, if I want to come down to earth and be more grounded, and the politics and this virus and everything about it that's so unreal, it doesn't get me. I'm not shutting down. I'm not ignoring it. I'm able to see what's going on, and I fully understand what's happening. And again, I come back to, this country is being taken over. It absolutely is. It's so bizarre to say that, because in my life, I never imagined a day where I would hear such words. And I'm not the only one that's on this page. There are many people waking up out there that know what's taking place, what's going on, and they're trying to tell you. They are. I say again, this great reset, this new world, involves a high degree of censorship. You're not going to say anything unless we give it the thumbs up, the approval. January 6th. January 6th, 2021. 1/6/2021. Washington, D.C. This is what I heard, what I hear, that the President of these United States of America has put forth for all patriots, law-abiding citizens, believers in justice and truth, to converge, to come together and meet in Washington, D.C. And if you can go, you can be there, I highly encourage you to. And bring everybody you know that can tag along with you. Unfortunately, I'm all the way here on the West Coast. But if I was anywhere on the East Coast, I would definitely be in Washington, D.C. on January 6th, 2021. Otherwise, you can say goodbye to the United States. I don't care what the Democrats say. Again, this country is being taken over, and money is the strongest hand that's being held, that is encouraging all of this, causing it all. There wasn't this whole thing about money and the way we use it. We put value on life, really, using the money. But because we do, That's why we see what's taking place, because there's no reason for any of this to be taking place. Not if you're an American citizen. Not with what I grew up from the time I was. I can remember 5 years old, pledging allegiance. I had an understanding. I didn't feel like I was participating in a bad thing. It made me feel connected to something. All of my fellow students, all of us, singing simultaneously together, or pledging. Singing together is good too. Anything you can do together with others is a wonderful thing. Why do you think they don't want you to go to church during this COVID? Why would you? This whole COVID lockdown is it's all planned out. It's all orchestrated. I've talked a number of times over the months about the whole. It's all about money. You know, it's like they want you to get it and be sick. The hospitals do. That's the impression I get, because they're getting all this money, tens of thousands of dollars, if they can get you in there and put a ventilator on you. Everybody needs to wake up. I'm worried that they're not going to, though. There's no incentive to, really. In their mind, I think. Too many people are... a lot of people seem to be waiting on stimulus. Hoping for stimulus. That's a... I don't even want to get into the money thing. The money thing just is so... What would you do if you had all of Bill Gates' money? Do you know? You don't know. I don't know. Who would know? Most people don't even think like that, because they know already that that's the kind of thing that would never happen. I don't know. I don't want to turn this into a money stream, but I mean, my mind knows that the great part of what's taking place in this world right now has to do with money. You know, whether you have it or not have it, it's a problem. I mean, if you have it, or you're not using it wisely. At least I don't think so. I mean, money is created as a source, a tool, a resource from which everybody pulls from. But that's not the world we live in anymore. Money, all the money, that pool of money, all got sucked up into the hands of a very few. I mean, right now we're printing money. We're making money up. Maybe not physically, but digitally. You know, put the numbers on the books. All the stimulus that we've been creating. Well, we're in debt. Deeper in debt. That's why the money thing just doesn't make sense. It's become... And how do you fix it? I guess you fix it by a great reset. That's what these people think. And again, back to the beginning of this stream, I can understand this mindset. it's not like these people just woke up and said, you know what, today, this is my idea, my plan. I'm going to cull the herd. We'll sterilize a good portion of them, and then they won't be able to make new ones to contend with. That's one way to do it. We can put out diseases. That gets rid of another chunk of them. We can create a financial crisis, i.e. the lockdowns and the businesses. That'll take out a lot of people, and go on and on and on. That's what's happening right now. Wake up. Let me get back to this intelligence. I feel like I have to, because we are not alone. I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. There is an intelligence. It's here, right now. It's always here. It's always been here. It never leaves. See now, because I feel very strongly that this intelligence, if I were to give it attributes, if I were explaining to another this intelligence, I would say God. I stand firmly on that notion that this intelligence is God. It's always been here, and it will always be here. But see, when you look at the Bible, say, the storyline in the Bible, you're left with this notion, this premise that, see, it's weird because the Bible tells you God's here, is always here, but yet there's this sense that God has left this place. Hence, God will return. Second coming, ring any bells? Which to me kind of distracts one away from what's really going on, which is that God, this intelligence, it never left. It's always here. I don't know. There's just so many weird little things like that when I spend a moment and delve into religion and the mindset that's practiced. Because I'm left a little confused. I can get into the whole God and bring Satan into the equation, the good and the bad. God is everything. Everything. Okay? I think the Bible, Scripture, and I think that this applies to pretty much all the faiths out there, that whatever it is that they've chosen to deify, it is everything. That's the kind of power it is. It has power over everything. It is everything. Okay? Then as you read into all these storylines, you get to this point where once you've established that there's this God and this God is everything, you're then told, well, no, wait a minute. There's this little piece over here, and it needs to be over there, far away from God. Well, what's that all about then? Why did you tell me God's everything? And then you tell me that, well, there's this piece of what was God, but now it's over there, so it's not God. Well, then you need to redo your teaching. Like, and again, I'm not saying you do. You don't need to redo your teaching. You just need to go back to the beginning. And in the beginning, God is everything. And from there, everything flourishes outwards. Okay? That's how you do it. That's not something that a good number of people are ready for, though. Why? Well, because of that little piece that they know and believe in, which is over there. It will always be over there. It's never allowed to come back, so to speak. I'm just saying, that's all. It's just something to think about. You can't have one without the other. If you want to believe in good, then you're gonna have bad. The yin and yang, they need each other. They are eternally connected. There's nothing, anything, anyone can ever do to change that. It is what it is. Now, I believe you can rise above both. You can transcend both the good and the bad, and you become one. Everything. That's what God is. This bad, this devil, this Lucifer, that's man. I really think it's man. That's and placing blame on another. It always comes down to they did it. Wasn't me. Wasn't me. Never. Now look at us today. I mean, the devil's big business nowadays. Makes big money. All the entertainment. I see what's going on out in the world. I mean, there's TV shows, series. I was thinking the music's stopping and it was fading out, and I'm thinking maybe it's time. It's been an hour. Yeah. I want to. My thing has always been to do this every day. Some days I have thoughts. I feel like could just be on for hours, but I don't want a camera set up. I like have it where a camera follows, so I can go about my day and doing things and interacting with the world and my thoughts, because I'm always thinking about everything. Again, the mind is the next great frontier. I think a lot of people can kind of come to terms with the sense in that statement. It's coming down to the mind. It's always been about the mind. From the very beginning. To those first men and women who sat at the fire under the stars and talked. I don't know what's going to happen. I have hopes. I know that this country that I live in, the United States of America, is hanging by a thread. It really is. That's how invasive I feel the enemy is. Again, I know people say, "Oh, well, I don't see that. I don't understand what you're saying." And again, that's the whole point. If such an operation is to take place, well, you're not going to do it out in the open, so to speak. But there are so many other things that are taking place that leave a trail, like with this election and the voting. There seems to be evidence that shows the Chinese donated good chunks of cash to whoever's involved in these voting machines. Dominion. There's just so much evidence. If the evidence can be heard and seen, then see, that's another thing that just blows me away. And that's why I say, if we get to this point where you're going to let Biden in, and who fathered a son with a laptop, I won't go any farther with that. But if that's what the people are going to choose, then I choose to. I'm done. I'm done. I'll be keeping my eyes and ears out, looking for the next party, because something is going to come out of this, because the Republicans and the Democrats just don't seem to be behaving right. And I'm not talking about Trump. I've always looked at Trump as more of like a regular guy, because he's not a politician. So I've always held him in that regard. I looked at him as, if somebody were going to do something in D.C., in government, it would be that person, that kind of a person, who is not coming in as a politician. That's their job. And I know it doesn't sound right to say that, but the truth is that lots of these politicians, the money, you got these trails of money. Hey, senator. Hey, congressperson. Hey, here's some cash. We can donate it. We're thinking about however they do all these deals. But it happens, okay? It happens. The lobbyists. This isn't make-believe stuff. This is stuff that actually happens. It blows my mind that it comes down to everything. It's all money. It doesn't have anything to do with right or wrong, which that kind of just trips me out, because it seems like everything right now is centered on that whole concept of right and wrong. At least I thought. The Great Reset. What do you think is going to happen in a Great Reset? What does that mean for you? What do you see? I mean, clearly, if you're going to have a reset, you have to have an end. I mean, you have to have something has to come to a stop, right? And then you reset it once you stop it. So I'm trying to fathom in my mind, what does that entail? ending. Well, I see things are ending. I mean, like lockdowns, curfews. It just seems like that's going to become the new norm. It's never going to go away. And again, I think it's all because it's a plan. And we're just seeing phase 1. Or who knows how many phases are in this twisted plan. But I think we just experienced one, this whole COVID. And I know I have every likelihood of being censored. If I were to be heard by the masses, I wouldn't be, because I'm saying that the type of things that they don't want you. I think the only thing I have going for me is I don't have this huge crowd of people listening. So I'm able to be here and share my thoughts and speak my mind, and feel like I'm doing the best I can, and that makes me feel good. I want to change the world. Don't you? I don't want to change it like Bill Gates does, or Biden, father to a son with a laptop. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Gosh, I wish I could be in DC. I'll be watching. People will be streaming that. And I'll be watching. And my energy will be driven that way. 10 million, that's I think Alex Jones was saying he'd like to see 10 million should be there, and I agree. But there should be more. Everybody should be there. This intelligence. I'm going to wind this stream down, but I'm going to spend another moment or two with this intelligence. It knows who you are. It knows who everybody is. There's no individual who can hide, who can deny and ignore truth. Lies and truth are right up there with good and the bad. It's a war. This intelligence knows. And I know a lot of people, they have this vision or hope of a landing, E.T. and all that good stuff, and it's all going to be good, and we'll sit around the fire with the E.T.s and sing Kumbaya, and that is never happening. People have put out the thought over the years since, like Roswell, the government knows this, and why aren't they telling us, especially after all these years? Because what can the government tell us? I don't think the government has much of anything to tell us, because the government really doesn't know much about, even if there is a crash ship or whatever, they don't know hardly anything. They have the slightest inkling of any knowledge obtained by such an event. This intelligence isn't trying to come here and move in, so to speak. Again, I said that this intelligence is here right now. It's always here. We just don't see it. We don't acknowledge it on that level. We don't see it. But it's there, it's here, and it always is. We need to elevate ourselves in order to make contact, so to speak, hang out. And again, I think that, like I was talking with the dreaming reality, how do you go about doing that in this reality, and saying that I don't think you can. You're gonna like transcend, so to speak. You're gonna move on into a realm where you can, and it's the same thing with this intelligence. It's why you don't see them coming here and landing and putting on shows for, daily or nightly sky shows, and for all to see. It's just not going to happen. Not here, anyway. Not on that grand scale that I think a lot of people envision, and still. I mean, I get it. I understand. It's a nice romantic notion. If that's how, if there are ETs and it's going to happen, then it could happen this way. And I'm going to get, but I'll leave you with this again. It comes down to the mind and the thought. That's the next great frontier. That's how you're going to meet this intelligence. That's where it is. I mean, it's here. It's always here, this intelligence. I'm tapped into it right now. So are you. Doesn't go anywhere. That's how we're going to make contact. And it's a whole new world. Again, how would you spend your next moment in a world where you had the kind of control or options that you have in a dream? The impossibility. Like you fly. I don't know if you've ever flown in a dream, but I have. I don't do it all the time, but they're very notable, memorable. That kind of stuff. Or jumping. Can't do that here. But if you could. Okay. I'm working strongly in my mind to get to that point again where I can be putting these out almost daily. That was my plan, a few months back before I had my foot issues. Anyway, thank you for spending some time here just thinking about random thoughts. Be well and smile.